Okay, and welcome to Genie World. This is John Nelson, and this is a session I called Order because it's to do with layers, which in the Spark software, common to most software, you work in layers. Just to remind you, if you go to the website, then you can download this sheet, a bit of an aid memoir. This is most of what we're doing today. So if you want to remind yourself, have a go afterwards, then this might help you. Or if you want to share with colleagues, that resource is there for you to download. So what I'm going to do now is open up our Spark page. Now let's just, okay, so there we are. So this is what I've done here. I've already prepared this circle, just drawn it. And what you need to understand is this is on a layer. I think of it as the old overhead projector where you have acetate sheets. So I've drawn a red circle on the layer. Next thing I draw will be on another sheet on top of it. So that will be a new layer. So to go with this circle, I'm going to go to the Spark software, insert vector graphics, and I'm just going to choose the circle shape again. I'm going to draw a second circle here, just a bit smaller. So there we are. What I want to do is I change the color on this. Now, because that's an object that's highlighted, if I go to the left, the tab, and click on there, if we're in Property Browser, that gives us some information about that particular item. So what I've got, that's yellow, and I'm going to change that to a nice blue color. So if I click on there, I've now got a blue circle. Now remember, I drew this second, so it's on the top layer. So if I move this over the red, it stays on the top. Again, if I go back, take it off. Now if I move the red, it doesn't actually go on the top because it's still underneath. So I now have two layers. Bottom layer's got the red circle on, second layer's got the blue circle on. Just going to add one more. So same thing, I'm going to insert, go to vector graphics, pick out the circle shape. I'm going to leave this one as yellow, so it's slightly smaller. So now this is on the third layer, and that's the last thing I drew, so that's going to be the top. So if I put the blue on the red, that stays on the top. Move the yellow across, that's on top of both of them. So the order is red is on the bottom layer, blue on the next layer, yellow on the top layer, because I've drawn three layers now. But what I might want to do is change the order. Now, with all images and objects in Spark, if I click on them, I get the four toggles. So bottom right, the green toggle, that's just for adjusting the size. The top right, so I've got the rotate, which won't make much difference with the circle. Top left, the orangey one, that's just to maneuver around. The important one I'm looking for at the moment, bottom left, is the menu. So if I click on menu, and what I'm looking at is order. So if I go down to order, slide across. Now, at the moment, the yellow circle is on the top layer. So it's already on the top, and I can't actually click up, so it won't go up a layer because there's no more layers to go up. If I click on down, that's going to take it down a layer. If I click on bottom, that will take it to the bottom of the pile. So it's like taking up those transparent sheets and reshuffling them. So what I'm going to do is go to down. So now I've sent that down a layer. So if I move that to the blue, it is now underneath the blue because I've moved it down. Let me just move it onto the red. It's still above the red because I only moved it down one layer. So whatever I do now, that's the order it stays in. So that's the idea of layers. I'm just going to restore that. So if I just go to click on the menu button again, go to order, and if I just click on up or top, it'll have the same effect. So there we are. And just to prove it, go onto the red. Let's give that a chance to go to the top layer. So if I go to order, top, There we go. Covers both of them. So it's like a little game of who's on the top layer. Right, how can that be of use? Well, there's a little idea here, so I'm going to go on to the next slide. And again, I've done a bit of preparation here. I've put out a set of numbers because I might have a numeracy math session coming up. Now, this is a little bit tedious because each of those is an individual text object. And again, if I'm going to do this, it might be something I'm going to repeat. So possibly I'll just go to File and Save. Or what I can do, if I go to the tab on the left, and if I go to Thumbnails, these are the slides I've got already. We're looking at this one, it's highlighted in red. What I can actually do is let's go onto there, do a copy of the slide, and I can make copies of that. So it's a way of using that again if I perhaps want to repeat this little session. So back to this page, I've got the numbers 1 to 12. I'm going to add one more number. So if I go to text, and I'm just going to add number 13. I think they did those at 36 and bold to make them stand out. So let's add in 13. And there we are. We've got the numbers 1 to 13. So let me just come out of that. What I'm going to add now is a sort of box. So I'm back to insert a shape, insert vector graphics. This time I'm going for a square box, rectangle. Click on there. I'm just going to drag that shape out. Now, because that's the last thing I drew, this is now on the top layer. So if I move this round, anything else it will cover. But the idea of this is, what I'm going to do is move some of these numbers. I'm going to move them up layers. So at the moment, they're all below this yellow box. So I'm going to pick out a few numbers. Now this might seem at random, but let me go to that one. Same process, menu, order. I'm going to put that one on the top. Let's choose another number there. Same process, so we're just repeating this. Top. Let's go for another number. Let's go for that one. And let's go down order top. Almost there. This one, I would like that to go on the top. And the last one, this is going to go same thing on the top. Now, this might be a situation where we're looking at numbers, we're trying to look for patterns. And again, this will be on your touchscreen or your interactive power board. And again, remember they're multi-touch, these things, so you could have several children working on this. But the idea is, I might start off by asking one of my pupils to come out, pick a number, and let's drag that down to the box. So I'm dragging it down to the yellow box, let go, and it's gone. So it's gone underneath. Let's try another number. I'm going to go for this one, so it might be a different child, different pupil. This time it stays on the top. So what we're going to do is try and work out whether there is a pattern to this. Let's go for number 9, because that's gone. So again, we might get to the stage where number 7 and number 3 have stayed on the top. Is there a pattern to that? Are they part of a times table? Is there some other connection with them? So now we're trying to get the audience to think about those numbers, try and predict what will happen. So the next person who comes out, they might pick number 12, for instance, and before they move it, what do you think is going to happen? Will that disappear or will that stay on the top? That's gone. And then we go through the process. At the moment, we've only got those 2 numbers. Bingo. We have one that stays on the top. Let's go for this one. So at the moment, we've got those 4 numbers. Again, it might be more apparent what's going on here. So number 8, what do you think is going to happen to that? Will it stay on the top? Will it go? That's gone. 4. That disappears. 6. Only got one more number to go. So let's have a look. Number 2 stays on the top. So we've got 2, 3 in ascending order, 7, 11, 13. What's that pattern? I'm sure you've all guessed they're prime numbers. So again, I could do that with numbers from a particular times table. I could do it with all sorts of different patterns. Again, I'm using numbers. They could be letters. We could be looking for vowels and consonants. They could be words where you've got different words, synonyms, etc. So various ways you can use it. And just to show you a more visual one, if I go on to my next slide, let me just try again. Next slide. This might be a science lesson for younger children. So the blue represents a bowl of water, and we've been doing about floating and sinking. So again, I pre-prepared it. I've changed the order of these things. So we might start with a ball. So first person can come up, drag the ball. Do you think it will stay on top of the water or will it sink? So if I bring that across, and a ball we think might stay on the top. What about a spoon? Let's try that. Do you think that was a nice little sort of dome shape on there? That's gone. And again, it might go into a discussion about what's the spoon made of. Do you think some spoons will float and some will sink? Well, that's obviously sunk. Let's go for a brick. Is it a Lego brick or is it a house brick? Job to tell from there. And I think that must be a house brick. That's sunk. And last but by no means least, the boat. Well, hopefully the boat is going to float. So again, that is just using layers. All I did was go to menu and decide whether that order that would be, whether it would be top, bottom, or adjust the layer. Just one more thing. Again, the process is very simple, trying to put it into different applications. Just going to go on to a new page. So this is a new clear page. And I'm going to change it slightly because I'm going to go back to my circles, insert circle, so vector graphics. There we are, draw a circle. And I'm going to repeat that. Again, just to make it easy, I think if I click on it, go back to menu, I can clone that. So that would make it a little bit quicker. So move that out of the way. Now, that's the second one. So we can see what's happening. This left-hand one always stays on the top. But what I'm going to do is change the fill color. So if I go onto my toolbar to the paint pots icon, click on there, and I'm going to go to fill settings. So I'm going to click on there, and I'm going to change it to blue, but I've got a transparency slider here. So I'm going to go to roughly halfway. Okay. Pick up the paint pot and filled, take it to the object, click. So that one's filled with blue, but remember I've changed the transparency on there. Let's go back to my paint pots, fill setting. This time I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to go for red, and notice the slider's still on halfway between opaque and clear. Click on OK. Go back to the paint pot fills, bring it down to the object, click. So now, if I pick up my cursor, remember these are semi-transparent. If I slide that across, that's quite a nice little exercise. So although they're not true colors, we get the idea of looking through and color mixing. So that should look purplish in the middle. But again, that's using the layers, but adding the element of transparency. So hopefully from that, you can see it's quite a simple process. It is picking up an object, clicking on it, going to menu, and playing with the order. Couldn't be simpler, but if I go back to my exercise with the numbers, that could be something you could repeat. Again, nice way of getting children to interact and look for patterns that you've already put in there. So I hope that's been useful. I think that's quite a simple and useful technique and certainly works well with the interactive boards and touchscreens. So I hope that's been of use. This will be recorded, so again, this will be on the website and be accessible. So thank you very much indeed. I'm just going to diminish that, get rid of that. And I think that has come to the end of that little session. So another bite size. These are being built up on the website, so please go back, look what the others are if you've missed any. Thank you very much. I think that's finished that little session. Thank you.